call home and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
By God, Fulkerson is coming back to Rocky Top. The Tennessee basketball transformation continues. This is a huge welcome back for Tennessee. I'm the Indy Kid. I'm coming at you with more basketball news, more basketball positivity this week. And before we get any further, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe to the Talkin VAWLS network. And just appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate your views. Appreciate your feedback. And even if you're telling me I don't speak properly, which is okay as well, because I am from the South, I am who I am. So, but let's get into it, guys. John Fulkerson is back. Tennessee's basketball roster has just completely transformed in the last few weeks. It went from what I deemed as very concerning to becoming very positive. Lots of potential on here, and there's still 2 spots left. I'm curious to see what they do with that. But speculation I've been reading the last couple of days was that Fulkerson was leaning towards returning. And, he makes comment on there, I hope I haven't let anybody down. Hope I've made you proud. Yes, you have definitely made Vol Nation proud. No, last season did not go as anyone hoped it would, but, sometimes for a program to advance, sometimes for people to advance, you have to have adversity in your life. That team had adversity. They didn't really handle it well last year. Coach Barnes, who has really, for the most part at Tennessee, overachieved. Last year he didn't, and that's the first time people weren't happy about it. Sure, so be it, but Rick Barnes has gone and looked in the mirror. Rick Barnes has brought in players who are going to help transform this roster. He has recognized where there were flaws in the roster. He recognized where he needed to upgrade, and he's upgrading. And, if you watched that video as a Vol fan right there and that didn't get your blood pumping, I don't know what to tell you, man. You don't have a soul is all I can tell you, because I've watched it a few different times now, and every time I watch it, especially when he says Vol Nation, I'm back. That gets me fired up. That was one thing at the end of the year. I think at the last game when Fulkerson come off the court at Thompson Bowling, he really appeared to me as a guy who had played his last game there. But then the SEC tournament happened. He got the cheap shot from Omar Payne that put him out for the tournament, which then put him out for round 1 of the NCAA tournament as well. And that's just a crappy way to go out. And, I think it's awesome. Unfortunately, it takes a COVID year to get that opportunity. But, there is, I guess, a silver lining here for Fulkerson. He gets this other opportunity. He's coming back. And, he adds to what should be an exciting roster. And, I'll pull up the sheet here again, and we'll take a look at it. So, again, Anasicki out, Devontae Gaines out, Keon Johnson, Jaden Springer, Eve Pons, all to the pros. Corey Walker, transfer portal. Drew Pember, transfer portal. That's 7 guys out. Victor Bailey is in. John Fulkerson, he is back. Josiah-Jordan James is in. Olivier Kamha, I don't see any reason he should be transferring. I think he's going to have a nice role here. Uros, I don't see any reason why he's going to transfer based on how his minutes came on at the end of the year, and Rick Barnes did single him out that he was a guy who was getting it. And Vescovi, unless he decides to go overseas and go pro, there I saw the talk of it. I don't know if there's anything to it. But like Grant Ramey of 24/7 Sports said, you can't ever rule out these European guys, these foreign guys, possibly going back to play pro. And so, you can't blame them there if they do, if they have that opportunity. And then incoming, Kennedy Chandler, Jemai Mashak, Quentin Jabunje, Jonas Adu, Brandon Huntley-Hatfield. Saw today where, of course, he is reclassified in 2021. He has already signed As I said yesterday, I didn't think it would be too long before he signed. They have reclassified him in the rankings at number 18 overall for 24/7. So you're adding 2 top 20 players in Kennedy Chandler and Huntley-Hatfield. You're adding another 2 more top 100 players, if I'm not mistaken, in Mashak and Adu. And then you're adding Quentin Jabunje as well, who's a 6'6" shooting guard. He actually doesn't have a rating yet. So it is possible this class is full of 4 and 5 stars, 2 5s and 3 4s. Then you're adding Justin Powell as well. He's going to add shooting, and I would think, from what I was reading today, there's still that SEC hurdle to go over, even though the NCAA has either approved it or they've almost approved the one-time transfer. There's still that hurdle, that SEC hurdle. What a conference, man. Great conference as far as competition, but, man, they have some interesting rulings, to say the least, right there. So where does Tennessee go from here? Where do they go? 2 spots still remaining, and I still say point guard should be one of them. I think you can never have too many point guards. I've looked at the transfer portal. The only connections I've made here, based on who I've seen in the portal, is Jalen Cone, who was at Virginia Tech. Tennessee was in thick in that recruitment a couple years ago, and then Tyler Harris, who is coming from Iowa State. He originally committed to Memphis. I think that one was pretty much down to Memphis and Tennessee. Of course, Penny Hardaway was beating his chest over that one, like he, had just won the national championship or something. But Tyler Harris then had transferred out and went to Iowa State. He's in the portal again. I don't even know if that's something Tennessee would entertain or not, but that's the connections that I've made right there. There are some other interesting names in the portal as well, as far as definitely some good players in there that could help Tennessee. But another big day for Tennessee basketball, as right now officially, 11 spots. Fulkerson would technically be 12. He's not counting, as some guys said a couple of days ago when we talked about the Jonas Adu commitment. So Tennessee still has 2 spots open. And, I'll be curious to see what they do with those. Do they go for guys who have multiple years of eligibility left? Or are they looking for somebody who's basically a grad transfer that has 1 year left? That way they can hit the high school ranks hard, because they've got some connections with Bobby Mays, AAU. There's some good players there, BJ Edwards, and the center, I think Hunja maybe is the name. If I mispronounced it, I apologize on that. But so they're in thick with some players for 2022. But man, I'm excited about this roster. And I still think it went from a team last year that we thought would be deep, and they ended up not being deep at all. As a matter of fact, probably went 7 deep at best last year, guys who could actually come in and provide a little bit of offense. And, maybe give up some defense, but could provide some offense. There were a lot of guys last year who could come in and provide defense, but they couldn't hit the wall if they shot at it. And I think they have totally transformed this roster. Obviously, adding Fulkerson back, and hopefully we get that 2019, 2020, or even that first 12 game John Fulkerson's. He was in double figures 11 out of the first 12 games last year. So, he was playing some pretty good ball, and that team was rolling at the time. And, it's led to believe there were some COVID issues, injuries. He was beat up last year. I want to see this guy come back and get his proper walk-off at Tennessee. I'm excited that he's back. I think he's coming back on a mission. And, listen, man, it's going to be a tough conference again next year. Alabama's only getting better. Auburn's had some really nice pickups. Obviously, we know Bruce Pearl, like him or not, he is a heck of a coach. He's building a good program there. Kentucky's going to be Kentucky. They're not going to be down every year like they were this year. Man, there's some other – Ole Miss seems to be on the rise. They're doing some good things there. They're hitting the portal, picking up some nice players there as well. Vanderbilt's had some nice commitments. I know Vanderbilt's been really down last couple of years. Curious to see what Missouri does as Conzo Martin. He had a decent year. They kind of tailed off at the end. And then I think Florida has a lot of they had a lot of players leave. So I don't really know what's going on down there. Who knows? As long as Will Wade's at LSU, he's a good coach. He's going to have them playing. I don't see how he continues to make it, but, it is what it is. And obviously Arkansas was played really good this year. I think they're just scratching the surface as well, what they're getting ready to do. This is such an underrated conference in basketball. You always hear ACC, Big Ten. The SEC is strong and is getting stronger, getting better in basketball. They've had some really good coaching hires. They're pulling in some really high-ranked commitments around the conference. And there's some solid coaches in this conference. And, it's going to get to a point. You saw it this year. We thought, or I had said it on some of the Orange Blazer, that I thought Tennessee was the team to beat. And that conference so much surpassed my expectations. But run a little longer than I expected here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Another exciting day for Tennessee basketball. Be on the lookout as we will be. And let me say this properly for the person who says I didn't say it properly. We will be covering the Tennessee Vanderbilt series this weekend. So I hope you will tune in when we cover the series. But big series for the Vols at Lindsey Nelson. I've seen where they're going to be about 70-75% capacity this weekend. I imagine that stadium's going to be rocking. You've got the legends of Lindsey Nelson who have really made that a home field advantage for baseball. Teams don't like coming in there to play. They're rowdy, and this team seems to really feed off of them as well. If you don't have ESPN Plus, what is it, $5 a month? It's a heck of a buy. You can get the Tennessee games on there. You can get almost any college baseball game you want to watch. So if you're a fan of like me, maybe an ETSU, wouldn't mind to watch, or, somewhat, a Wofford, just thinking off the top of my head, teams that maybe not SEC, you may want to watch other it's a great deal. It really is, especially if you're a college baseball fan like myself, and I know there's plenty of you out there. And but stay tuned for that. And if there's any more basketball news that breaks, I'll be on it as soon as possible. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys take care. And just to plug it as well, we will be going live Sunday at 6 p.m. We'll have a chance the Tennessee Vanderbilt series should be wrapped up at that point. If there's any news from football, from basketball, we'll try to, anything else exciting going on in Tennessee sports at that time. And then as far as I know, we'll be doing a live orange and white game show next week. Should be a lot of fun right there as well. But you guys are awesome. Appreciate you tuning in. You guys take care. Happy Friday, and go Vols.
Soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive. The dogs howl like me, poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit smashed and broken